Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Davidson County Board of Commissioner meeting for Tuesday, May the 26th. I'm glad to have you here with us. Call the meeting to order, and I call on Commissioner Shell to help us with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Those of you that would like to join me. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together as a free people, Father. Father, this Memorial Day reminded us of a lot of things, but one thing that stood out was the fact that we've got graves in foreign lands, we've got graves here of people who gave us that freedom. But you know, Father, when we think about, we think about those folks, and they're special folks, and thank God for special folks. But what about the little child that never gets to see his parent or his brother? That would give so much thought to them. Father, they're all special people. They all made sacrifices for all of us, that we could stand together as brothers and sisters in a free nation. Thank you for our Lord. Thank you for everything that you do for us. Give us the wisdom, strength, and guidance to make the right decisions that will enhance the lives of all of our citizens. For it is in His precious name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
I'd like to recognize our veterans, and we'll turn it over to Commissioner Shell.
If we have any veterans in the audience, would you please stand? We have a county veterans pin. If you have not received this pin, would you please come forward so we can present it to you?
Thank everybody.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. We'd also like to recognize the Lexington Chamber of Commerce representative, Adam Sewell. Are you here tonight? Good to see you. Thank you for being with us. All right. If you have not registered for public address and would like to, please do so at the front. I'd like to excuse Commissioner McClure. He is unable to be with us to this. May I have a motion and a second to excuse him?
I make a motion that we excuse Commissioner McClure.
Okay. I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, for the adoption of the agenda tonight, Parks and Recreation has requested that agenda item 8O, approval of road names for the Sportsplex, be removed from the agenda. Are there any other changes to the agenda tonight? None. Hearing none, may I have a motion and a second to adopt the amended agenda?
Motion to adopt.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have anybody registered for public address? Thank you, sir. All right. Jackie Taylor.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Jackie Taylor, and I continue to be a resident of Davidson County for the past 21 and a half years. Tonight I want to talk to you about the honor and pride when we said our Pledge of Allegiance a moment ago and how the veterans are recognized, which brings me to what I've got to say about senior services, with our director posting on YouTube a comedy skit where she pledged allegiance to the toilet paper. Well, I didn't think that was very good. And she also held up some underwear in a part of that skit showing that yellow in the front and brown in the back. Well, a lot of our seniors do have incontinent issues, so to be making fun of people having urine and fecal material in their underwear. That's not my idea of funny. So, a department head should not mock the American flag or pledge allegiance to toilet paper. In a professional workplace, employees and leaders are expected to maintain conduct that respects civic symbols, avoids offensive behavior, and upholds the standard of professionalism. Conducting oneself respectfully prevents workplace disruptions, avoids potential liability violations, and ensures a respectful environment for everyone. I think that the commissioners should give our county manager to use his authority to make corrections as needed with senior services. Now, every one of y'all have gotten a pile of evidence from where deception was used to permanently terminate me. And I continue to request that I receive an apology and an invitation to come back. And Robert Hyatt dumped it off on Zeb Hanner. Zeb Hanner dumped it off on Casey. And now, is Casey going to take care of this? Or is Casey going to dump it off on our interim, David Rickard? And he'll do his 6-month stint, and then will he dump it off on the new one? And then we're getting new county commissioners coming up in January. Something's got to be done. And just something as simple as this, yes, I know it's a comedy skit. It's still unprofessional. And Chair Wofford, I'd like permission to approach and give you this so that it can become part of the file.
You can give it to Ms. Harris. Ms. Harris.
Okay, I want you to take a look at that. See, that's her and Christy Smith, the manager, pledging allegiance to the toilet paper. Now, it's supposed to be funny, but it ain't. My dad was in the Navy, and he served in the Korean War in Vietnam. And, our veterans here, that's not funny. We showed honor when we said our Pledge of Allegiance. We didn't do this silliness.
Thank you. Xander Bostic.
My name is Xander Bostic. I'm 21 years old, and I'm the owner and operator of a local farm called Holly Grove Homestead, where we produce eggs, pickles, fresh vegetables, and honey. I've also used my farm as a way to educate children about agriculture and to be an advocate for local farmers. And I have been asked by some farmers near the Yadkin to come out and speak against the Duke Energy natural gas plant. According to the information that was given to me by my connections at the co-op, there are 847 registered farms that are located in Davidson County, and about 250 of those farms collect water from the Yadkin River. The Yadkin is already dealing with one of the worst polluters to ever grace the river, which is the coal ash plant. Now you're talking about adding these natural gas plants on the river, which will make everything worse. These plants suck up hundreds of millions of gallons of water a day to cool their systems, just to then dump out hot, contaminated water back into the river. This water contains things such as arsenic, selenium, chromium, and petroleum compounds, which can be absorbed by crops and consumed by livestock. With the current pollution from the coal ash plant, and now this, the local produce and meat located near the Yadkin, what is supposed to be healthier for us, is just continuing to harm us. My question is, how can y'all support farmers in the community while pushing for this so hard? At the end of the day, this is not political, it's about our health. The food that we feed our families because it's supposed to be healthy is slowly turning into poison, and additional plants will just expedite that process. I hope that at least the people who can hear me, if y'all will not take my speech for granted, I just hope the people who can hear me and hear this speech will make a different choice in November if something does not change. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Holly Leonard.
In 1987, there was a book that I was enamored with as a child It's called Where's Waldo? We now have our own personal of Where's Chris? I'm glad, I don't know what we've done to be honored with your presence tonight, Chris, but I'm astonished, honestly. And I figure it's because we were doing a vote potentially on the Sportsplex, and that's typically when you show. We've pulled your attendance record, 16 out of 32, that's 50%. That's wild. You still get paid on our hard-earned tax dollars as you sit there and look down. I would too, I'd be ashamed. You guys get paid regardless if you're here or not. You don't even have an attendance policy. Everything in this world has an attendance policy. School, your job. Do you have the 50% show out at your other job? Because I would be curious to know if you still hold that job at 50% show out. That's concerning. But it is also some light reading that I've participated in. You guys create the policies for the county employees here. I pulled their attendance policy. You make their attendance policy, but you don't have one for yourself. So where do you get off thinking you need to be paid and collect county benefits as a county employee, basically? And you're not going to be held to any standard that you're going to hold all of these people to, all of us to. That is arrogance on so many levels. But if you look at your code of ethics, I think y'all need to probably brush up on this one. It's concerning. Your board shall comply with the general statute and participate in periodic ethics education mandated by the state. Seems like you've skipped some of those classes. Section 4 is what's really titillating. Section 4A, board members should faithfully perform their duties of their offices. They should act as especially responsible citizens whom they care, trust, and respect. Hadn't seen it yet. Board members should faithfully attend and prepare for meetings. Thank God the Lord doesn't faithfully show up for you at 50% rate like you do us. Board members should be willing to bear their fair share of the board's work. 50% show out's not bearing your weight, bub, at all. I would like a refund of all the benefits you have sucked dry from the county for your 50% show up. You did say on one of the past meetings that let the new commissioners fight it out for the sports complex. If you don't want to do your job, get the hell out of the seat, because we're not going to pay you to keep sitting there. I also think it's something citizens should know, that you guys get to set your own pay rate. What job do you get to show up and set your own pay rate and have no attendance policy?
Mike Loomis.
I'm only going to take about 1 minute. So the Opioid Settlement Task Force Committee asked me to update my stability and my update on my fund request. I've done that. I did that in the last 2 days to make sure it was correct. Also, I want to address one thing. Ms. Walford, I love you to death, but I've been waiting for a phone call for 3 weeks nearly from you, which I really dearly need to speak with you. The communication between the commissioners and the citizens of this county is really poor at times. I'm not saying you're all at fault. We are too. I know I am. The only commissioner that has called me back is Matt Mizell. It's pretty bad. Matt Mizell is the only one that has reached out to us to talk to us about certain things. Ms. Walford, I really need to speak with you, okay? It's been 3 weeks. I know when I came in here and asked and I gave you a card, I'm not going to jump no asses tonight, because guess what? Y'all got a job to do. I wouldn't want to do it. So, and I also see Dexter Short here. Hey, Dexter, I hope you can get up here and do what they're doing, half of what they're doing, Dexter. And I've been wanting to say that for a long time since we ran. So with that being said, I hope the up 3 commissioners who've been elected can do half the job that these people up here have done for the past 4 years. It hasn't been right, but there's been a lot of wrongs and rights. As a community, we got to work together. That's all I got to say, whether you like it or not, and I respect every one of you. That's the updated version of my request for funding and my ability to sustain my nonprofit, which I've done the fundraising this year, and I've raised $2,000 to do my event so far with no help from this county. Thank you very much. And I got one for Billy Iowa. Thank you. This is what I'm going to give you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
With that, I'm going to leave this commissioners meeting, because I think it's going to get hot in here. Have a good evening.
Janine Verdudo.
Good evening. I stand here tonight on behalf of the people who live, work, and raise families along the Yadkin River to say clearly, we do not want Duke Energy's gas plant in our county. For years, rural communities like ours have carried the burden of industrial pollution while corporations profit. Residents are left dealing with particulate matter, ozone pollution, and toxic emissions that affect our lungs, schools, and neighborhoods. And now Duke Energy wants to build another fossil fuel facility on the banks of the Yadkin River. Why Davidson County? Why are the working class communities expected to absorb the environmental risks while decisions are made far away from the people impacted most? This information is directed specifically at our county manager. Residents have already concerns about air quality, asthma, respiratory illness, and industrial contamination. People are tired of hearing that everything is within acceptable limits, while pollution continues to grow. According to the EPA, Davidson County's fine particulate matter pollution level is currently at 8.8 micrograms per cubic meter, dangerously close to the federal limit of 9. That's before the expansion of the compressor station, by the way. The data comes from the Lexington Water Tower Monitor and is listed in the EPA 2024 Design Value Report. PM 2.5 pollution consists of microscopic particles that penetrate deep into the lungs, bloodstream, contributing to serious health problems, and there is no truly safe level. If our county exceeds the federal standard, it could harm public health and future economic development. With additional industrial projects already proposed, including this gas plant, we are dangerously close to crossing that line. Googling daily air quality reports may sometimes appear good, but long-term EPA design values measure the overall pollution burden communities live with year after year. Davidson County's air quality is at risk, and we must act responsibly to protect the air we all breathe. The public deserves transparency and honest information about how much pollution this project would add to our community. We are told that this plant represents progress and reliability, but progress for who? Reliability for who? Certainly not for the families who live beside the increased industrial emissions for decades. And let us remember the Yadkin River itself. This river does not belong to Duke Energy. It belongs to the people of North Carolina, to fishermen, farmers, boaters, wildlife, and future generations who deserve clean water and clean air. Commissioners, history is watching you. Your decisions, your citizens are awake, aware, and angry.
3 minutes, ma'am.
Will you stand with the citizens who elected you, or with the largest utility corporations in America? Thank you.
Gary Orioli.
Yep. Ancient civilizations such as the Mayans, Aztecs, and Romans had constructed better, more sustainable systems of irrigation and water conservation than we have in place today. Think about that. A 2,000-year-old group of people cared more about protecting their natural resources than the group of people on this committee today. It's this type of arrogance that one day will bring a collapse to our civilization. I recommend that you all stop making decisions and watch some environmental videos on YouTube. Turn off Fox Entertainment Channel for a while. Every time we cut down a tree, we cut down a perfectly balanced system of nature. That one tree is our connection to so many natural systems. That one tree used to purify our air, give us shade, transpire moisture, and eat CO2. On that note, if you're ever wondering why this drought is lasting so long, let's take a moment and think about all the places around this county that have been deforested in the last 10 years. It's time to connect the dots. Abraham Lincoln wrote, "Freedom is not the right to do what we want, but what we ought to do." We ought to protect our environment. After all, the federal government will not protect us. The DEQ won't protect us.
and apparently you're not ready to protect us. What does it take? How much destruction? How much pollution? How many cancer patients? How many contaminants in our soil? The number 9 is the limit. We're at 8.8 on particulate pollution scale. Teddy Roosevelt said, to waste, to destroy our nature, our natural resources, to skin and exhaust the land instead of using it so as to increase its usefulness will result in undermining in the days of our children the very prosperity which we ought to, by right, be handing down to them, amplified and developed. Those words were written over 100 years ago, and here we are back to square one. Half of this country sees dollar signs, drill baby drill. The other half hopes for a future that is clean, clear, and green, and not toxic. Duke can and Duke should do things much more environmentally friendly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ruth.
I'm Hal Ruth. I live 200 Briarcliff Drive here in Lexington. Proud to be a Lexingtonian, Davidson County person, and a citizen of the greatest country in the world, America. I'm kind of hesitant to say much of anything tonight, but that's our freedom. I didn't want to go in the National Guard, but I was kind of won the lottery, and I was honored to serve. Back in 71 to 77, I was on riot duty 2 times a year, all 6 years in Greensboro. But the beauty of this country is people die so we can have this freedom to speak up. And I appreciate this pen y'all gave me. I'm proud to live here in Davidson County, and I brag on it. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
We'll move on to public hearing, proposed 2026-2027 Davidson County budget. Mr. Smith will lead this off.
Madam Chair, the board received the proposed budget at the last board meeting. Tonight's the night where we hear from the public about it, headed to our June 4th, next Thursday, work session on the budget. So I'll turn it back over to you to open the public hearing.
I declare the public hearing open. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak? Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Jenny Varner, president of Davidson Davie Community College. Thank you for giving me a few minutes to update you on our college.
Ma'am, would you repeat your name? I didn't get that last name.
Jenny Varner.
Probably because I'm hard of hearing.
Yes. The most important update I have for you, as always this time of year, concerns what happened 12 days ago when we added exactly 1,200 college graduates to our alumni roster. And those 1,200 graduates actually earned a total of 1,750 credentials because some earned more than one. There were 608 associate degrees, 123 diplomas, 1,019 certificates, and 140 college transfer pathway completions. 1,200 people who, regardless of their career path or maybe their plan to go on to a 4-year school, that's 1,200 people who are in a better position now to have a well-paying job or a great foundation for additional education. So thank you. You were a big part of making that happen, and we are grateful every day for your support. The next most important thing for me to tell you is to get your shovels ready because we will break ground this summer on our emergency training center that you completed the funding for back in January. I almost have the date for you, but we're still finalizing, but I will make sure you have that date when it's settled. Just as a reminder, this emergency training center is going to accommodate most aspects of emergency training from law, fire, future public health, or other mass disaster scenarios that we either can't do right now on campus or for which we no longer have adequate facilities. So this will be a great facility for now and into the future, both for our college and for our region. Thank you also for your support of our major capital repair and replacement projects. Along with the funding for the new building, you also allocated money back in January to complete 2 major HVAC replacements. These are the types of major repair or replacement projects that are not covered by the annual capital allotment, so we have always appreciated the opportunity to work with Casey and his staff to schedule these bigger ticket projects. We also are grateful for your annual operating support for our physical plant. As we all know, in North Carolina, the role of the county is in supporting the buildings and physical plant of community colleges. So I think it is worth repeating, we are one of the most beautiful community colleges in the state, if you want my opinion, the most beautiful. And we are told often, your campus is nice and clean and welcoming. Your facilities and instructional spaces are repaired and updated, and people feel comfortable and that everyone is friendly when they come to our campus. So we have you to thank for that as well. Obviously, the physical plant is not the only thing that matters, but it's a piece of the puzzle in putting together a quality education for our students where they can study in modern facilities that are geared for the jobs of the future. Add that to our 40-plus programs of study and our continued top ratings on statewide performance measures, and you will know why our enrollment continues to climb. You've heard me say it before, but I'll say it again. We were one of only 4 community colleges in North Carolina that didn't lose enrollment during the pandemic, and ever since, our numbers have continued to go up. More and more students are coming to our college. Our overall head count is over 13,000. We finished this spring semester with curriculum FTE enrollment up 6% from the previous spring, so more of those ongoing enrollment increases that we have become used to. During 2025, we also had 148 apprentices among 38 participating employers and a continually growing enrollment of high school students who are dually enrolled at the college and with their high school. Dual enrollment has increased to about 35% of our enrollment over the last 5 years, with current numbers for fall 2026 showing an increase over fall 2025. We are very grateful to have partnerships with our school systems and to work well with them every day on this and other initiatives. Our newest program, radiography technology, started in the fall with a cohort of 15 students, expanding our healthcare offerings. We were also awarded a state grant to launch a child care academy that prepares entry-level workers for child care to address the critical shortage of skilled employees in this field. We got a lot of attention this spring in relation to this grant and our child care center with a visit from the statewide Child Care and Early Education Task Force, which was led by the Lieutenant Governor and by Senator Jim Bergen. Following the visit to campus, I was also invited to testify in Raleigh before the Joint Legislative Oversight Committee on Health and Human Services. The reason we were invited, in addition to the task force being impressed by their visit to campus, is because we are now one of only 13 community colleges still operating a child care center in the state. 22 colleges have closed their centers. I was honest with the Oversight Committee about the challenges, primarily financial, in running these centers, and I shared with them what we and other colleges may need in the future to be able to continue to sustain these centers. Since then, we've had a couple other VIP visits this spring, which I'll brag on a little bit. During statewide apprenticeship week, our college was in the spotlight when the governor visited to look at our healthcare apprenticeships specifically. We have been a leader in those apprenticeships in the healthcare field, and also something new called pre-apprenticeships. And then for graduation, the state auditor wanted to come visit us as our special guest. I think it's because he appreciated our nice, neat number of 1,200 graduates. So our numbers are strong, our programs and our outcomes are strong, our employer relationships are strong, and our campus is not only beautiful but capable of supporting the quality instruction that we need to help our community and our citizens be job ready. So we thank you for your continued support of that work. Thank you for the role you have played and will continue to play in our success. May I answer any questions?
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bonner.
Thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Slake. Thank you.
Good evening, Chairperson Watford, members of the Board of Commissioners. I stand before you tonight on behalf of the students, staff, and families of Davidson County Schools to express our sincere appreciation for your continued partnership and investment in public education. We are incredibly grateful for the leadership and vision this board demonstrated last year specifically. Because of your decision to increase local funding, Davidson County Schools successfully raised our teacher supplement from 6.125% to 6.75%. So thank you. This investment sent a powerful message to our educators that their hard work is valued, and it has heavily aided our efforts to recruit and retain the best talent for our classrooms. Furthermore, we want to acknowledge and thank you for the vital capital funding provided in the preliminary 2026-2027 budget. I'm also very grateful for the targeted support for HVAC projects, particularly for our kitchens and our gyms. This is a massive step forward for the daily comfort and health of our students and staff. Additionally, we are deeply appreciative for the support in renovating our 123-year-old county office. I'm going to say that one more time. Our 123-year-old county office. And thank you for helping us modernize it while yet preserving a key piece of our county's history. Commissioners, I also want to celebrate another key piece of your investment and continuing investment in our school district, which is our academic gains. Our students and staff made last year and will continue to do that this year. When you invest in Davidson County schools, you see a clear return on your investment in our student success. Thanks to the resources that you have helped provide, our district is celebrating immense system-wide academic growth and historic milestones. We are proud to share that we have successfully reduced the total number of low-performing schools across the district from 5 down to 4. Through targeted strategies, Reed's Elementary School, Welcome Elementary School, and Tyro Middle School all met or exceeded growth and triumphantly exited low-performing status. At the high school level, our district-wide graduation rate climbed significantly from 85.5% to 88%, with an impressive 7 out of 10 high schools increasing their individual graduation rates. Excellence is moving across our entire system as well, when we now have 6 B schools and 23 C schools. Hasty Elementary and Northwest Elementary, for example, improved an entire letter grade from a C to a B. Both jumped. And 9 out of our 10 high schools increased their ACT composite, proving that our students are leaving us more college and career ready than ever before and able to take those courses that Ms. Varner was talking about. These triumphs are proof that our collaboration, the school system, and the commission is a strategic approach, and it is working. But to sustain this upward momentum, we must protect the school leadership structure that makes this growth possible. While we celebrate these successes, we must also confront a sobering fiscal reality as we look ahead to next year. Davidson County Schools is navigating a multi-million-dollar crunch. We are facing a stark state-level funding reduction due to the loss of 295 students. Davidson County Schools has had to absorb a $2 million state cut. Additionally, continued enrollment losses tied to charter school expansion have redirected $1.1 million away from Davidson County Schools. And that figure does not include private school impacts as well. To absorb these hits, our cabinet has implemented a strict zero-based budget in our local budget. And we are working tirelessly to absorb necessary position cuts through attrition and a hiring freeze. Before bringing this request forward, our district has explored multiple internal cost-saving measures and restructuring considerations in an effort to avoid destabilizing school operations. For example, we have used no-cost solutions and Spyglass to help lower costs and find any place where we may have overpaid somebody. I know you guys are familiar with no-cost solutions. The commissioners use them as well. On top of this state cut, our school district, just like many families, is facing a huge cost of increased inflation and fuel costs, coupled with increased costs for insurance and the district's retirement contribution increasing, our local budget gets hit hard. The challenge before us is not temporary. Escalating operational costs combined with inadequate state funding formulas are creating long-term sustainability concerns for public school systems across all of North Carolina. To address these challenges, we are being forced with difficult decisions, and that impact many areas of our schools and therefore have pushed us to a precipice where local intervention is urgently required to protect our students. Tonight I come to you with a couple of requests. First, I want to lift up an area where Davidson County Schools is being forced to cut. Without additional county support this year, 12 of our elementary schools will be impacted with a reduction in personnel at the assistant principal position. The state level funding formula for an assistant principal is one 10-month assistant principal per 984 kids. I'm gonna let that sink in for a second. You get one AP for 984 students. That would be 17.6 assistant principals for 35 schools in Davidson County. This is unreasonable, and this unreasonable formula forces our district to fund 54% of our assistant principals locally. With the increased cost I mentioned earlier, we will have no choice but to eliminate assistant principal positions in elementary schools with fewer than 400 students. Many of these schools already operate with limited administrative structures and shared responsibilities, meaning there is very little excess administration to absorb any additional cuts. I believe this is a boundary line we should not cross. Eliminating an assistant principal is not just a standard line item reduction, ladies and gentlemen. It directly compromises school safety, student supervision, and the very operational stability that drove our recent academic gains that you just heard about. Consider the immense workload that falls on an elementary campus. To give you a clear window into what our leadership handles, I want to provide a few examples of the active role that assistant principals in these particularly impacted schools play. Across the 12 impacted elementary schools, we have navigated 1,094 behavioral incidents. That's just this year alone. On top of that, our staff managed 143 mental health crises in these schools, 65 suicide risk assessments at these 12 elementary schools, and 78 threat of violence screenings. Each crisis takes roughly 1 to 2 hours of complete focus and necessitates parent conferences. Without an assistant principal on site, the principal becomes the sole authority and individual responsible for managing these. If they are isolated in a room dealing with these crises, the rest of the school is left unattended. On the instructional side, assistant principals are essential to teacher growth and North Carolina Department of Public Instruction compliance. Across the 12 schools, administrators helped complete 888 classroom observations, 1,031 professional development plans. In total, that represents over 1,900 mandated tasks. These are done each year and are required by the state and, of course, required by the Department of Public Instruction. One solo principal at each school cannot manage that volume without rushing through checklists, sacrificing feedback quality, and ultimately hurting teacher development. Operationally, our assistant principals act as bus coordinators. They coordinate stop-arm violation counts, lead mandatory student bus evacuation drills, manage daily bus counts, handle personnel compliance like drug testing, and are the first responders on the scene of a bus accident. They also manage school safety by answering emergency alarm calls and conducting regular crisis response drills. Commissioners, the assistant principal is the operational glue and the safety shield of the school. If we have to implement our reduced assistant principal plan, this could have far-reaching effects requiring secondary assistant principals from the middle and the high schools to leave their schools to assist these 12 schools, possibly even during arrival of students where we are conducting over 9,000 open gate searches and screenings a day. Expecting a single principal to run a campus, handle thousands of behavioral and mental health crises, evaluate dozens of teachers, and coordinate massive transportation footprints by themselves is simply unsustainable. To prevent these critical cuts, Davidson County Schools is respectfully requesting an additional $793,014 specifically earmarked to preserve these elementary positions. Additionally, to maintain our momentum with the school supplement, which we did last year with y'all, we are requesting $960,986 to move our local supplement from 6.75% to our goal of 7% for this step. In total, we are asking for local operational increases of $1.7 million total. To put this in request into perspective, relative to the county's strong financial position, where property tax revenues grew by 7.2% last fiscal year, this $1.7 million operational request is less than 1 penny on the county tax rate. In conclusion, Commissioners, we're not asking you to fund luxuries. We're not asking for excess. We are asking for the baseline funding required to keep our schools secure, to keep them safe, our leaders supported, and our classrooms staffed. I understand that local funding is given in a block and not necessarily given in line items such as personnel or salary or supplements. However, the block funding you provide allows Davidson County Schools to fund critical individuals that make us the highest performing school district, large school district in the Piedmont Triad. You have seen what we can accomplish with your backing, and thank you for that. Help us protect our leadership so we can continue moving Davidson County Schools forward. Thank you for your time, for your consideration, and most importantly, your unwavering investment in our students, which are our future.
Amen.
Any questions?
Just
Yes,
real
sir.
quick, Doctor, what was that total again?
1.7 million for the two, Mr. Shell. $793,014 for the assistant principals and $960,986 for the supplement.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I would just say that with a $2.2 million shortfall coming in with a $1.7 million request isn't, I would expect him to be asking for $2.2 million, so,
Something to think about.
yeah, it
Well,
really is.
one thing I thought I might ask you all tonight is if you would be interested in, Dr. Slate coming to our next meeting so that we could ask him more informational, where we could ask him some more questions, maybe get closer down into the weeds of things,
As part of the budget workshop or work session?
Yes, yes.
That's June 4th, correct, Ms. Harris?
June the 4th.
I will make sure myself and, if at all possible, my cabinet will be here as well.
Yes, yes, and we could ask deeper questions and, have a little bit more time to think about, because it is, certainly is an ask over and above,
Yes, ma'am, it is. And once again, I'm grateful for all that you have done for us.
Okay.
So thank you.
I'd like to just add one thing real quick. Dr. Slade, I'm one of the, you hear a lot about teaching and what goes on in our schools, and I was in school once and I had a lot of different teachers, but, I just want to share a thank you to Davidson County Schools. My grandson just graduated from Liberty University with a BS, and he'd done an internship at Ladford.
Awesome.
And it was he loved it. It was amazing. They treated him so good, and it was so professional. And I want to extend my appreciation for that.
Thank you, sir. And we were
Didn't have
glad to
anything
have
to do. Nobody said anything about his granddaddy was a commissioner or anything like that. They just treated him very well, and he loved it. He's ready to go to start teaching.
Well, we get through this hiring freeze. Hopefully, we'll have a place for him.
Yeah. He's in English as second language. He's thinking about traveling abroad, to work on it. But he's done real well, and I've been very proud. But I was so pleased to hear stories that when he came back with, and how the teachers were that he worked with there. And I want to thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, Dr. Slate, that in the last discussion that we had last year, we were talking about the correlation with the money that we pay our teachers and the level that we get out of the schools. And that was one of the concerns of the level that we were at with the graduation rates and everything like that. You bringing that information is a refresher. It shows that when you do invest in those salaries and you get the top talent, that you will see the benefit of the reaping of that harvest. So thank you for bringing that information to us today.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? Here we go.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Hooser. I am the fire chief of the Arch Fire Department. This is Brian Bumgardner. He is the president of our board of directors. Before the meeting, we left some paperwork up there for you, and basically I'm going to go over the same presentation that we did for the county manager when he called us all in to talk about our budgets this year. Right there on the front page, I did a quick comparison of our fire department versus other two-station fire departments in the county. The square miles we cover, the census of the number of people that we protect, and the households that we protect. As you can see on the second one, there's a graph there that shows that Arcadia Fire Department is one of the busiest fire departments in the county. At the rate we're going right now, we're going to exceed 1,400 calls this year, calls for service, both fire and EMS. Page 3. It shows since 2019 our call volume. And you can see there during COVID, we paused running some calls to the assisted living facility, which we've seen a great decline in our call volume. And then as we added some of those calls back in, they started back up again. Last year, we finished with 1,115 calls. It's no surprise that there's an increased cost in doing business and running this volume of calls. Since COVID, everything took off going up. The price of protective equipment, the price of firefighting equipment, the cost of fire apparatus, the cost of fuel. Arcadia Fire Department had their last request for a tax increase in 2020. On the next page is just a copy of the budget that we turned into the county to the county manager. I want to bring your attention to the last page, which is the long spreadsheet. Our board of directors, probably 5 to 10 years ago, started doing a 10-year plan. And what you've got in front of you is the next 10 to 12 years. One of the big challenges that we all face is volunteers. Mm-hmm. The volunteers are a thing of the past. I would dare say that every fire department represented in this room today, when we came to the county manager's office, was requesting funds to staff fire trucks. Fire trucks don't put out fires, people do. Our board had the forethought to look at reevaluations. We know by law reevaluations have to be done ever so often. What we were not sure of is how the county commissioners would approach that as it pertained to fire service tax. Fire tax is the only tax you pay that you can stop by your local fire department, walk in, and see exactly what you're paying for. So after the meeting with the county manager and his comments in a previous commissioners meeting saying that he was going to recommend going revenue neutral. At that point, it left our department, our board of directors, no option except to come in and ask for additional funding. My current staffing, Arcadia's had a paid program for over 25 years. Today, we have 7 full-time firefighters and approximately 25 part-time firefighters. We strive to have a minimum staffing of 3 people on the truck every 24 hours, 7 days a week. In October, we added a 4th position to a part-time position to try to have 4 firefighters on the truck every day. again, staffing saves lives. Staffing is where we provide the services to the citizens of this county. In our 10-year plan, we want to add 2 additional full-time firefighters immediately. And as you go across there, if you want to take time to read it, we've got everything from trying to provide them with a training facility, land acquisition, a second fire station, manned, because building a station and putting a truck in it does not help anybody. So if we're going to do that down the road after that, we would like to staff it. We're also going to have to replace our brush apparatus, and in probably less than 10 years, we're going to have to replace our breathing apparatus. So the bottom line is we're requesting a 3-cent tax increase to continue providing the services to the citizens of the Arch Fire Department. In closing, county manager said to us he was concerned about the fire fatalities that we've already had in the county this year. He's not the only one. There's a room full of people behind me that is concerned about fire fatalities. If you're going to reduce fire fatalities, we have to have the equipment and the people on the truck so that when we arrive, we can go to work and conduct those searches and extinguish those fires. So I would respectfully request that you would consider our 3-cent tax increase for Arcadia Fire Department.
Thank you.
Have any questions?
Yeah, I do. I have a question. Is that 3% in consideration of the revenue neutral, or if it stays the same as it is today, what would it be?
So, and that's the struggle that we've had, and I think most of the departments here have had, because I understand there's some legislation going on down in Raleigh right now. We need the additional 3 cents. Now, how that's calculated, is that 3 cents on top of the revenue neutral, or is that we go back to our straight 10-cent rate and move to 13-cent rate, and then I don't worry about the revenue neutral next year, because we need that increase in funds to hire more people and be competitive. One thing that I didn't have in my notes, it's a pretty good comparison, I think. The county hires EMTs to ride EMS trucks around the county, $18 an hour. They have to do 245 hours of training in order to do that. The firefighters that we're all hiring and putting on our fire trucks not only have to have that EMT, because we back up EMS, their fire certification, their rescue certifications, their driving and pumping certifications, which totals out to around 780 hours of training. And most of us are paying our firefighters right at $15 an hour to run into burning buildings. I can't be competitive, and when I say competitive, I'm not talking about competing against other fire departments in this county. We need to get competitive against neighboring counties to bring more firefighters into our county to work here.
Just one more quick question. When you've had your board meetings, they're open to the public, what does the public think about a 3% increase?
So, within our bylaws, we're set up the same way as you guys are. We're elected, and that's the right of the people that come in at our annual meeting.
Right.
Which is held in the fall. And at that point, our board makes a decision on what's provided to you guys. And I will clarify that, on the 10 cents you ask about, if the reeval does go through, we would already set our budget to the current 10-cent rate. But without the reeval going through, we would need the 13.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I just wondered if you got a feel if you'd had any feedback or anything.
No, we hadn't, and we haven't.
Yeah, okay.
And even on the medical calls y'all run, we don't pay for y'all's medical stuff. That comes out of y'all's own budget. You know, we pay for the fire stuff, but y'all running medical calls that you bringing out of your own budget that you pay for that stuff. We don't replace it. I know we had an issue at Central Davidson where you helped a gentleman that fell and knocked his teeth out. My brother back there, and he was telling me about that, and it blew me away. I didn't know. I thought we bought all that stuff, and we don't. Right. In my district, Chief Floyd called me. He's got a 27-year-old tanker that's about to cunk out, and he's scared to death about not being able to afford that. And then I talked to South Lexington, I talked to some different fire departments. They're looking at they don't have places for these folks to stay. They need 24-hour care. And then I had a couple members talk to me about the money that we're spending at the Sportsplex, that who's going to be able to go to that and respond to that other than just the EMS, when we've got trucks shut down all the time right now. We have to have those medical calls from the fire department. So that was something that really got to me. And then there was something mentioned about the ISO ratings. You know, you want to get the folks upset. Let these ISO ratings go up on their insurance and let them start paying, because y'all don't have the equipment you need, or you don't have the personnel, and then that'll be a hailstorm in here, way more than 3 cents. So,
well, and I will say this, if we're not given the 3 cents, then we're gonna continue to go.
Yeah.
But we gotta cut somewhere.
But you're limping, yeah.
We are got to cut somewhere, and unfortunately, we've got to buy the fuel or trucks don't run. We've got to keep them serviced. We've got to keep all of our testing done. It's probably gonna come in the form of cutting positions, cutting back some of those part-time positions. And I know that we've had a few structure fires since we started running 4 people on the truck. And I can tell you that our loss save ratio has skyrocketed. We have been able to stop those fires at a room and contents, get them extinguished, and save 90% of the property. If you show up with 1 person in a truck, and that was fine back when you had 40 volunteers coming from all directions. That ain't coming today. They're not coming. So what you show up with is what you've got to work with. And I'm just afraid that the fire service in Davidson County is fixing to take a hard turn to where we're pretty much all gonna become paid departments. So.
And that mess that just happened in Main Street, Lexington, with that huge fire, I didn't realize how many of y'all helped the city of Lexington with that, and then people covering your districts while you trying to help when something bad happens like that. That was an eye-opener.
Yes. Yeah, we all help each other.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Quick question from me, and I know we spoke actually last week, and I appreciate the context there. Is there, and again, maybe we would need to have further conversation, if there's a middle ground approach or a phased approach where, again, throwing it out there as a potential option for conversation of, instead of doing a full 3 cents in 1 year, you phase it in over 2 or 3 years. Would that be something that would be, I guess, amenable, and would that be less risky than saying none at all and make you lay off folks?
We are certainly open to anything, Commissioner. I'll tell you, we make it work, and just like the Chief said, we're gonna continue to run calls and continue to serve our citizens. But it just may not be with the personnel that we need to do that. So we're open to anything. We'll be glad to accommodate the conversation at any time you guys are willing or wanting to.
Well, I know this is, I mean, it requires a lot of balancing, right? Because we're here to, of course, protect the citizens, and part of that is the fiscal piece, protect their wallets, but there's a safety piece too. Right. And that's what you offer. And so we don't want to do any egregious cuts. I mean, I live up in Arcadia. I know it's growing. And I personally, just as a citizen up in Arcadia, I wouldn't mind paying an additional few cents to know there's that additional coverage. But we have to weigh it for the whole county too.
Understand? Absolutely. Any other questions?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm David Pope, Chief of Hill and Springs Fire Department. This is my Board President, Walt Kruger. And we appreciate your time and continued commitment to the safety and well-being of the citizens of Davidson County. Just like Chief was talking earlier, today we're here to ask for assistance in helping me and my folks to provide the best coverage and response in the Hill and Springs Fire District. Back in 2024, the taxpayers of Hill and Springs Fire Department voted unanimously to increase their fire tax from 9 cents to 13 cents. With that increase, Hill and Springs Fire Department was able to add much-needed certified personnel to obtain the heavy rescue certification through the state. At that point, we went from 8-hour days to 12-hour days. So we went from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, to Monday through Friday, 7A to 7P. So I'm here tonight respectfully to request that our budget reflects that 13 cent based off the new property value to help our department meet current demands, plan responsible for the future, and to continue to provide the level of emergency services our community expects and deserves. Hill Springs Fire Department has developed a 3-year and 5-year plan. Those plans are focused on strengthening the department in practical and sustainable ways, including recruitment, training, and retaining qualified personnel. I think you're going to hear that a lot tonight. As you know, highly trained and dependable emergency responders have become increasingly difficult to find in today's society, but yet the need for those professionals continue to grow throughout the county. Part of our 3- and 5-year vision is to expand our facility so that we can support 24-hour coverage when that time is coming. Looking further ahead to a 5- and 8-year plan, it includes developing a training facility across the street from the station down on Highway 8, and that investment would allow us to better train our firefighters while providing valuable training resource to our mutual aid departments and their personnel as well. Hill Springs Fire Department provides fire protection, basic life support, heavy rescue services. These are not optional services. These are essential emergency functions that protect lives, property, and public safety throughout our district and our mutual aid. Delivering those services effectively requires trained people, reliable equipment, and a strong commitment to readiness. The fundings that we're requesting will go directly towards serving and protecting our community. They will support personal development, long-term operation readiness, and the infrastructure needed to ensure that our department remains capable of answering the call whenever our citizens are in need. At the heart of the request is service. Our firefighters, when the tones drop, every firefighter wants to be first through the door. Every member of the department takes pride in servicing the community, standing ready to respond and doing the job with professionalism, courage, and commitment. At the same time, as you've already heard, the cost of fuel and insurance and maintenance and emergency equipment continues to rise by an average of 10% each year and more. These increases obviously are significant, and they directly affect our ability to maintain service levels, plan ahead, and equip our personnel with the tools that they need to operate safely and effectively. This funding is necessary if we are going to keep moving forward rather than trying to keep up. The Board of Hill Springs Fire Department and our former chiefs have done an outstanding job building a strong foundation, making my job so much easier. But they've made wise decisions and wise purchases throughout the years that has positioned the department very well. I would like to continue moving our department forward, and I'm asking for your partnership and support in doing so. This request goes above more than funding. It's about being prepared. The services and ensuring that the Davidson County Fire Service can continue to meet the needs each community today in the years ahead. I want to personally thank you for the time that I can stand here today, and I ask that you would consider helping us support the people who proudly serve Davidson County. Any questions?
I do have a question. You
Yes.
said training facility across the street?
Yes, sir. They're right across from Highway 8 there. Hill Springs owns that corner there. It's been there for years. I think North Carolina DOT has used it for years. And I think there's a contract issue there that they've stopped using that, so we'd like to utilize it other than just to sit there.
So y'all got money in your budget to build a training facility?
Do not.
Okay.
No, we do not.
Are y'all aware of the new training facility they're building at the community college?
We are aware of it, and we're kind of halfway between Rowan County and Davidson County. So it's about 25 miles one way and 22 miles the other.
So you could go to either one, right?
We could.
We've had that conversation before with the college, so, yep. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Anyone else?
Anybody else?
Okay, what's the, go ahead, Steve.
You may be asked the same question I'm gonna ask.
Maybe, for what, so I guess when you look at the total amount based on the revenue neutral rate,
Yes, sir.
and the one you've asked, it's, what's the actual difference in terms of dollars?
So today, if we stay revenue neutral, if I'm looking at I'm not looking at the numbers in front of me, but I think we're about $540,000 roughly at the 0.8 or the 8%. If we stay at 13 cent, our current rate at the new, I guess the new tax or the new money, we're at $840,000.
So then I guess my question, out of just curiosity, I'm sure folks would be interested to know too in the district, what, I guess specifically, would the additional 300 be going to?
Well, we would be paying for personnel. There again, we are not running 24 hours a day coverage. We still rely heavily on our volunteers. But to add on to our building, obviously, we would need some funding to do that. We're not talking about adding on the Taj Mahal. You're talking about 2,500 square feet. So we have some sleeping quarters, place where the guys and girls could take a shower. You know, and then obviously we have to look into the future. We've got a 26-year-old fire engine, 26-year-old rescue engine or rescue truck. And so we've got stuff that is going to need to be replaced at some point or another. We can't, you know, we can't squeeze blood out of a turnip.
Right.
You already asked it. That's about revenue neutral, that was what I was gonna ask about.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, thank you.
Hello, Michael Kraft, Midway Fire Department. Scott Ruth, my deputy chief, Midway Gumtree Fire Department, since we merged last July. We gave out a paper, you know, kind of with some of the same information whenever we come in Casey's office. Just like Chief Hoosier and these other guys is saying, rising cost, you know, it's just getting us all hard. We're right at 700 calls right now this year. If we stay on, we're gonna be around 1,800 is where we're gonna be out of the two fire stations. I went to work in Midway in '91, we run 237 calls, that was fire and EMS. So that's seeing the growth that we've had in our area, and everybody calls the fire station for everything, so we handle it. But anyway, like I said, I'm gonna hit some of this, you know, the increased volumes on the calls that we've got, fuel prices, increase or compensation on the staff. Like Chief Hoosier said, you know, the guys can go for 3 months. The county's gonna pay them $18 an hour to come ride an ambulance. We're paying $15 an hour. So we need to get competitive there if we can. The other issue that I've had, that I've seen, cause we put people around the clock in 1999 at Midway. We've got 4 paid personnel at the Midway station. I've got 2 24-hour coverage now at the Gumtree station. Retirement, since we're 501c3, you know, it's hard. We cannot compete with the county. We can't compete with the city of Winston-Salem, High Point, whatever. It would be so nice. Right now, Midway Fire Department matches 6% on our 401. I know the county matches like 14% to go into y'all's retirement. We would love to be able to up those numbers, and would be some things that we're wanting to do. Back in October at our annual meeting, we talked about the upcoming budget. It was voted on our annual meeting, fire tax rate 13 cents, and we discussed that we knew it was going to be a reval. So we didn't know exactly what to do. So anyway, that's what they voted. So after the guys sent us the first numbers out, our board of directors met and they decided that we would come down to 12 cents. It's kind of what we submitted whenever we come in and talk to Casey. After that, we got some more numbers thrown at us. We've had 4 or 5 different numbers or sheets sent to us. So anyway, at revenue neutral, we're gonna be 8.97. That would put in like 1.865 million. That's $512,554 less than, and a 21.5% reduction on that. Our board voted if we could, if the revenue neutral, if we could go at 10.5. That's gonna put total for both stations $2,080,979.36. Still at $297,283 less than we requested at the 12.5 on the reduction to start with of 11.54. In our cuts, we really need to put a new engine in the Gumtree station because they're older trucks. We need to update the Midway station some, just like we need to update the EMS base. And I know y'all talked about doing some things there on the county side. Chief, or Mr. Shell, you said the other night about the city of Lexington. Yeah, we had our ladder truck down there, or we was talking, we had our ladder truck and I had my paid staff down here in the city of Lexington the other night. We bought the truck in 12. It was $997,000. If I replace it today at $3.2 million. I'm trying to figure out a way, and I hope I'm not there in 10 years, as long as I've been there. But we've got that 5-year, we've got that 10-year plan, and we was trying to put in there for we could replace that ladder truck here in another 5 or 6 years. We can put an engine in the other station. But that's some things that I've cut back out. We ended up cutting from 18 sets of turnout gear to 5 sets of turnout gear in this coming year's budget. Turnout gear, talking DOI standards, talking state, 10-year front line, anybody's wearing it, we've got to buy them new turnout gear. We can't put them in the fires. So we've cut our budget back to 5 sets this coming year. The roof that's over my bays was put on it in 1987. So we ended up cutting that $60,000 back out of this coming year's budget. I need to put a exhaust movable system in the Gumtree station since I put people there 24 hours a day. Our generator that's backed up, the fire station, the EMS base is 27 years old. It's getting harder to find parts. We've had some issues with it this past year. It keeps breaking down. I need to replace it, but we've cut that out this coming year. Our SCBA filling station's 28 years old. We really need to put a rooftop HVAC. Y'all are giving the community colleges money, and that's great. I have no problem with that. One of my units is 1987. I guarantee our next one won't last that long when we put it on top of the building, so we keep our fingers crossed that that one's still running. The septic system, with the extra people from the EMS base, what we're putting in the fire station, sheriff's department coming by, the local community coming by. I've had our system pumped twice since January 1 this year. That's the type of stuff that we're cutting out. The original request on 12 cents was 2.378 million. That's covered a lot of projects. The two departments merged in 2025, July 2025, to better serve the citizens, and it has been a great success, and we want to thank y'all for all the help that you've done helping us do that. Our call volumes increased over the past few years from 3 to 7%. The merge was completely and not shown the signs of us slowing down any. Response times is getting better, especially since I put 24-hour people in the Gumtree station and we split up the area way we're running the calls out of it. Quicker response time. Since July 1, we've been blessed. We've had 7 CPR saved. 5 of them's been out of the Gumtree station. 2 of them was on Sunday morning when people's in church, and the paid folks was there within a minute and a half. So we've been blessed with that. So between the staff and everything that's going on, if we could, you know, if Raleigh does it, yeah, we're going to stay where we're at. But if not, we really need to go to 10.5 for we can really try to stay ahead or stay even, I guess we'd say.
Michael, what is your current rate?
Our rate's 13.
13.
Yes, ma'am.
And the revenue neutral rate is the, like, .089?
Yes.
Okay.
Casey, I guess.
0897.
You have all their budgets, Casey,
Mm-hmm.
for the last couple of years
Mm-hmm.
and expenses.
Yep.
Do y'all have any money in, CDs or anything? No money?
No. At the end of the budget year, we're probably gonna have around 400 is what we'll have in the bank. That'll have to get us to August the 23rd, and the only reason I can remember that, my birthday, and that's normally when we get our money. You know, our first check comes in from the county. With our expenditures, you know, it's gonna put us down. We should have a little bit left, but it's gonna be close. And if we stay revenue neutral with you know, we've been blessed over the years. We've had it in the budget. All of us is gonna have to pay workers' comp this year, where the states took care of that for the last 5 years. That's gonna be $60,000. Insurance is going up. Diesel fuel's hit us $2 a gallon, just like everybody, like the county, the school system, everybody. Put two front tires on the front of the engine this week, $2,400. I really need to buy 18 tires next year, in next year's budget, if we don't have a flat tire.
Mike, what is the increase in population in your two respective, do you know? I mean, I know it was increased quite a bit. I just didn't know if you had to know.
Our total number's around 14,000 is what our total number is. And we have to really watch, because when you look at numbers, you have to take the town of Midway, because there's right at 6,000 there, and then you look at what's in the county and then what we've took in out of the Gumtree area.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at.
Is there still any talk, or maybe this is so old that I'm just behind, on Griffith Fire Department? You don't know, hadn't heard any more?
We work with them, we work great.
Yeah.
You know, they're managing kind of on their own.
Good people, but I heard at one time they were thinking about shutting that one down. I don't know how much
It's gonna be hard to
there is
do,
it.
yeah.
Any more questions?
I'd just like to say, I'd like to commend you for the document you put together and the numbers. You kind of worked it back down from that higher cost. And I know that's hard, and because I was gonna ask similar questions about the phased approach. I feel like you've kind of done that already with kind of what's the immediate need right now.
Right.
But I know too that when citizens listen to this, or if I get questions, they don't always think in terms of like the percentages or the cents. It's the amount on that tax bill. And so I was just running some rough numbers. So if a house was valued at $200,000, at the revenue neutral rate for the fire tax, it would come to about $179, $179. That's again separate from the county property tax piece. If you move to that .105, it goes to 210. That's only a $31 increase. So when you start looking at it like that, it's not that big of a number in my mind.
Right.
It's just good to kind of have that, perspective for those listening in.
We've spent hours running numbers. You can tell, took my hair and everything else, but, things has changed so much, just like everything else. And who would ever thought that ladder truck would have cost $3.5 million?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Let me ask you this, can you ever afford to buy a $3.5 million ladder?
No, probably not. No, probably not. Not with what we're doing right now, because we've got to we can have all the trucks, we can have all the fancy buildings, we can have whatever we need, but if we don't have these bodies, we don't have anything. Just like you said, we've had some fatalities in this county. We don't want that. We've got to put the bodies on the scene. We've got to put them there fast, because we've got a job if the homes are burning.
I've got two things. Number one, and I totally understand $3.5 million, but at the point in time, we could say we could never buy one of them, just shut every door to every fire department we got, because eventually we're going to have new equipment. The other thing is, both of y'all gentlemen, Scott, fire chief at Gumtree, y'all work together. You voluntarily stepped down to merge on the behalf of the community. That, like, y'all should be commended for that. That's true leadership, putting everything else aside, y'all coming together and serving Midway and Gumtree and all that community up there, that's just unheard of. And I appreciate y'all taking that leadership and doing that, because we're a better community because of it. So I just wanted to pass that along. Thank you for that. And I get what Vice Chairman Yates is saying. We're in some hard times, and you know, inflation's hitting everybody. And not only that, but while all of this stuff and the price of doing business is going up, we've got more people moving into Davidson County every day that we have to serve and protect. And that's just a hard thing to do. So appreciate y'all bringing that information.
Yes, sir. And you know, even the engines, they're 1.3, 1.4 million.
Come on.
You know, for an engine. And the last one we bought, you know, is 4 years old. We give $780. They told me whenever I was up there, they said, you know, if you want to buy a new engine, it's going to be $930. It's going to be 3 years before you can get it. We should have signed the papers on it then. For $930, now it's going to be 1.3, 1.4.
Yeah.
You know, to put a truck. So,
Mike, is that out of the co-op? Yeah. Are y'all purchasing out of is there a co-op? Because you would think there would be a statewide co-op.
it's not like, you know, the front tires I bought on state contract. You know, $1,200 a piece for the two front floating tires on them. But, you know, it's just the market on the fire truck manufacturers. It doesn't matter if you buy a Pierce Mill, E1, whoever, you know, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
It's the supply and demand, and everything's not keeping up. Turnout gear, $6,000 a set.
My fire chief, Chris Floyd in the Central District, he told me he had been talking with Chris Proctor, and the last quote he got on that tanker was $1.6 million.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
I do want to say something. A lot of you were there when y'all voted to merge in last year. Obviously, it's made a difference. It's made a bigger difference than me and him both could have ever imagined. So we do appreciate the support last year. We also encourage that other departments probably need to look at those revenues, because it's about the citizens, it's not about us. And what we're trying to do, the staff that we got has contributed to those 7 saves. And now those 7 saves, 4 of those were before EMS got there. We're trying to keep that staff. So that's part of what we're trying to do with that increase.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Robbie Binkley, the Fire Chief of Fairgrove Fire Department.
Rocky.
So we're coming tonight to ask, in reference to the revenue neutral, we would like for our tax rate to remain to 10 cents that we're currently at. Over the past 5 years, we have experienced a substantial increase in calls of service. In 2025, our department responded to 1,616 calls for service, 999 of those calls being EMS calls, first responder to assist Davidson County EMS. Like many volunteer fire departments, we're experiencing a decline in individuals willing to volunteer their time to the community. Currently, we maintain 15 volunteers on our roster, with only about 20% of them being EMTs. It's hard for a volunteer to come in and get the required hours just to become a fireman and then go ask them to do a couple hundred hours of EMT. It's just not going to happen. Currently, we maintain the volunteers. Because of this, we rely heavily on part-time staff to provide 24-hour coverage 7 days a week. We do not have no full-time firefighters at Fairgrove Fire Department. We operate at 3 stations, one of them being in Randolph County. I'm the first full-time employee as their fire chief, but we have no full-time firefighters. Under our current budget, we staff 2 personnel on duty 75% of the time. The other 25% of the time, we only have 1 person working, running these 1,600 calls. These staffing levels can decrease further due to call-outs or the inability for the part-timers to fill shifts. These funds we're requesting will primarily be used to establish 3 full-time positions with benefits, including health insurance, retirement matching, workers' comp. Any remaining funds we placed into our truck and building reserve funds. We also have a 26-year-old first-out engine. We're not, you know, this money's not going to fund turnout gear, trucks, buildings, nothing like that. This is primarily to fund our first full-time firefighters. To be transparent, we also serve, like I said, in Randolph County. We are going before their county commissioners next month and asking for a 3-cent tax increase there to fund 3 full-time fighters in the Randolph station that serves Trinity area.
That's just across the line, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
I
right
know
there
it
off
was,
of
yeah.
Interstate 85 for that station.
Yeah.
Very close.
Any
Yeah.
questions?
No, sir. You asked for 3%?
Yeah, I think with a revenue neutral, it's like 6.5, and I think if we stay 10, it's like 3, it'd be like 3 cents if we just maintain that 10.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Is it okay to approve?
Have an extra that I could have?
I printed off enough copies for everybody but
That
myself.
works.
That's all right, you can support. First off, my name's Derek Blabber, and I'm the fire chief of South Lexington Fire Department.
Derek, what was that last name again? Again, I'm sorry, I did.
That's okay, Blackburn.
Blackburn, okay, thank you.
Yes. So, like many of the other fire chiefs, here to talk about the budget. South Lexington's requesting our current tax rate of 11 cents remain the same. As you see on the first page, our revenue neutral rate will drop us to 0.767, which will only give us a profit of $45,000 from what we're currently operating. If we maintain the current tax rate of 11 cents, then that'll take our budget up to $611,000. At the 93% recommended projection rate, that gives us $568 for a difference of $230. Any questions so far? Okay. So like all the other fire districts that have already spoke, our numbers are going only towards personnel. So we've got all the same equipment needs, personnel needs, but mine's going towards personnel. Since year 2023, we've had a 130% call volume increase, medical and fire-related events. I'll give y'all a minute just to look through that and make sure y'all don't have any questions.
Why would you think that increase would be so much? Population hadn't grown near that much. So.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
The population's not grown near that much, so why would you have that?
Well, we have had quite a bit of new residential construction. The development behind Southwood Elementary's played a part in it as well, but also because we're running medical calls. We have an older population within our district, so that also increases the call volume.
Do you have them broke out in medical and?
Not on that sheet. I can provide that later. I just don't have it with me tonight.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yes, sir.
Difference.
Yes, sir. One thing I do want to talk about, Chief Hoosier made the comment about the fire fatalities. I had 3 of those in my district this past year. With that being said, just a little bit of information on what occurred that morning. My first truck was on scene within 6 minutes with 1 person for 3 victims. It doesn't work. I'm also realistic. I don't serve the districts that Arcadia and Midway have. However, I have to do the same thing. So allowing this money would at least get me 2 people on my truck 24/7. That morning, I don't know that it would have made a difference, but it would have increased their chances. And as the fire chief of that district, my job's to make it better for the next family. So that's the reason for our request.
Sorry you had to go through that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, ma'am. No. Like I said, Commissioner Yates, I'll get you that information.
Okay, just get it to Casey.
Yes, sir, will do.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Here you go, Debbie.
Good evening. I'm Randy Everhart, Fire Chief, Sophomont Fire Department. I'm not going to stand up here and say the same thing over and over and over. All the fire departments are facing the same problems. Our board, when we looked at our numbers that were sent to us, our current rate is 0.13. Our revenue neutral rate is 0.085. Our board of directors decided that we could split the middle, drop down to 0.10, and that would give us about $300,000 additional monies in their budget. With that $300,000, Sophomont runs 2 fire departments. We have our station on Rock Crusher Road, station on Highway 8. We currently have 12 full-time employees. We have 2 people full-time at each one of those stations. We have part-time folks that fill in during the day to give us some extra staffing during the day. With the $300,000 increase, we would like to be able to add at least 3 more full-time employees, give our current employees a little bit of a raise to be more competitive so that they're not leaving. Right now, I have 3 vacancies on full-time because they have left to go to paid departments that either are paying more money out of the county or have state retirement that they can be a part of. So increasing that would help me fill those vacancies, but hopefully have retention of employees. We do have equipment issues just like everyone else has, but a majority of our money for this year is preparing for the future, putting folks in the seat to be able to have boots on the ground at whatever the situation is. And I'm not hoping a hornet's nest, depending on what happens a mile from our main station. We know that if everything goes through with that, it's going to be a increase in calls because we do run medical calls to do EMS assist. So we know that there's going to be a increase in call volume with that. Currently, last year we ran 885 calls. So far this year, we've ran 421 calls. So I'm looking at we'll probably, with the summer coming up, that's when our call volume peaks with everyone at the lake. So I'm going to say we'll probably be close to 950 to 1,000 calls this year. Any questions? All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Randy, real quick.
Yes.
If you get a chance, if you could email your sheet with your cost increases and what you would have at revenue neutral versus.
Yeah, Casey has them, but I can email them.
Oh, well, Casey can send it, Debbie can send it out to us, because I'd like to have all of them if I can.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd just like to come and commend the fire department in Davidson County. They're a great group of people, and I just want to let them know that where I'm from in New York, we had the best fire department in the world until September 11th came, and then all of a sudden it was decimated. So my question to you guys is, these heroes here are going to come if Williams Cove Transco pipeline blows up, or the Duke Energy pipe, whatever plant they're making, if that thing blows up, are these guys going to be prepared to come there and fight this kind of fire? They're talking about 2 or 3 guys at a time. When September 11th happened, there was 20,000 firemen there. Unfortunately, a lot of them lost their lives because for some reason they sent them into the building, which made no sense to me. I was there. I was witness to that whole day. And if you don't have a prepared police and fire department, things are really going to get sticky around here. So these people are asking for nickels and dimes. Maybe if we defunded some of that money that's going to that sports complex, we could pay them a decent salary. We could pay them for, a bunch of things. So I'd like you to take that into consideration on your next meeting and hopefully give these people what they deserve and update their fire equipment, update their scheduling and their pays and the EMS. They're very short on EMS people. That all helps the community. And that's what you guys are here for, to help the community, just like they are. Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry. My name is Michael Wilson. I am the Vice President to the Board of Welcome Fire and Rescue. I'm here this evening on behalf of the board and our community to request a 2-cent increase.
What fire department again?
Welcome Fire and Rescue. A 2-cent increase in the plan if the commissioners go to revenue neutral. Currently, our revenue neutral rate is 0.74. This would add us to 9.4, which would give us an additional $244,000 to our budget. Currently, at our current tax rate, if it stayed the same, we would only have about a $90,000 increase. If the reevaluation went up, it would be up to $878,000. You know, with so many departments behind me and you're hearing all the same things, and we're no different. Really, our needs kind of range between personnel, adding new staff, recruitment and retention, just like all the others. Our volunteers have gone, including myself. I retired from the department in January of 25. So as attrition happens, all the ones that you counted on are not going to be there. So now the departments are moving towards full-time staff. Unfortunately, we were one of the last ones, or the newest ones, however you would like to see it, to go to full-time staff. So we're behind the 8 ball. We have done due diligence to make the dollar stretch as long as possible. Our last tax increase was in 2010. So we feel like we have done our fair share to the public. In September of 25, at our annual community meeting, it was voted on and agreed by the public to increase to 2 cents. So that has been approved by the community. Taxpayers are welcome. Just a couple of tidbits that, I want to say that we're spreading this across. Foremost, it will go to staffing personnel. We currently have 2 full-timers and up to 12 part-timers. It's, definitely our forefront to put more people on and equip them. We also have a 30-plus year frontline engine. And I say by doing due diligence. We have also currently paying on a engine that we re-chassied to save money. Where a new engine's 800 plus, it was 425? Yeah, give and take, 425. So we worked to try to save money. Our biggest thing is, since in the last 10 years minus COVID, we're looking at a 38% increase in call volume. That is medical and fire as well. We, in the last 18 months, have seen an increase in developments in our district. We're up to 5 new developments in our district, which range from 80 to 100 houses each. So we do see some increase in construction, and we're appreciative of that. I always considered Welcome the town that never was, because we do have heavy commercial as well as 3 schools and 7 churches and a public library. So, we have a lot of things in there that a lot of districts don't have. So with that in consideration, like I said, I know you're going to hear a lot of things tonight, but that is welcome in a nutshell. So I do hope you will consider our recommendation for a 2-cent increase on the reevaluation of the revenue neutral.
Mike, did you give Casey a printout of that, what you were talking about, the numbers?
As far as the original revenue neutral, I was using his numbers to go off, but I'll be glad to provide some information.
If you'd send it to Debbie here, and so that way we can have a copy of all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Any further? All right, thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sorry, Chief, one more thing.
Oh, you fine, go ahead.
Okay.
I got all mine.
This is a slow pitch. How about we just ban burn pits in this county? Why do these guys need to respond to things when people are burning and it's irritating their neighbor and it's coming into other people's property and we have to call the fire department because it's getting too close to our house, you know? And besides that inconvenience, that'll be one or two less calls they have to worry about in a week. How about the air quality that we're dealing with? We're worried about all the air pollution from these Transco power plants and the Duke power plant. If we could stop people from burning their garbage, burning their trash, burning their trees and bushes, whatever they're burning, it would be a lot cleaner air. So we got to give and take a little bit, you know, like these companies want to pollute us. We got to figure out a way to help ourselves in a way. So if we could stop the burn pits, I think it should be outlawed. It's like a third world country kind of thing. We should be better than that by now. There's garbage, we have private garbage sanitation that could come and pick up the stuff. There's no need to burn stuff. There's a guy, I live not far from the Williams Cove pipeline. There's a house, this is Williams Cove pipeline. The guy lives right here. Once a week, he's got a fire burning 15 feet high for days, once a week. The smoke, the fumes, the sparks. The plant is literally next door. There's a fence, a metal fence dividing him, his fire pit, and the Williams Cove methane gas pipe. Thank you very much.
My name is Chuck Slepetsky, and I got a couple things I'd like to say. First off, I'd like to apologize to Arcadia because when we first moved into my house, I was welding in the basement with new fire alarms, and they came running with so many trucks, I was really amazed. But what I really want to say is this. In another lifetime, I was stuck in Afghanistan for 3 years running for a contractor, a program to supply support to military people. And doing that, I was under a lot of pressure to send individuals to different parts of Afghanistan, on bases for the most part, but individuals there, and I refused to do it. Despite all the pressure put on me, I always said at least 2 people. I would never send anybody less. And to hear what some of these firemen are talking about, especially the one fire truck that showed up with 1 person on it, that I'm outraged, because that puts the firefighter in such jeopardy. I'm really shocked by that. Like so many of us, I'm really concerned financially. Like so many of us, I'm struggling to pay bills. Like so many of us, I see the cost of everything going up. But if you're going to spend money on anything, then this is the group you need to spend the money on. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, please. Oh, sorry.
All right.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna have to shoot.
We're all here together. Thank you.
As they said, most people has covered everything else, but I'm Mark Reed, Chief of Walbert Fire and Rescue. I'm in the very northern part of the county. So a little unique, because most of my mutual aid, auto aid, as we call it, comes from either the city of Winston, Forsyth County, city of High Point, city of Thomasville.
I do that for a reason, 'cause you've heard about the personnel, to get the people there. I'm guaranteed folks, you know, from them, it's not hit or miss. They're riding at least 3 people on those trucks every day. But I'll go over my sheet, I may touch on a few things that, some of the other guys had. A little history lesson. We were founded in 1954, obviously as a total volunteer fire department. We gradually transitioned into a combination department, which is paid part volunteer. We hired our first full-time employee, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday in 1998. Began responding to medical calls at the EMT level in 1999. We also began providing rescue that same year, 1999. We are currently certified by the North Carolina Rescue and EMS Association in heavy rescue, high angle rescue, and agricultural rescue. That means we have to carry a allotted amount of equipment. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They come and inspect us. We've got to have X number of equipment, and I've got to have at least 8 of those folks certified in each one of those on my department, which I do. We hired 3 full-time firefighters in 2001, so we started 24-hour coverage in 2001. They hired myself in 2003. We currently have 7 full-time firefighters / EMTs and myself, and we provide 24-hour coverage. I do that with a captain and lieutenant. On each shift, we work a, quote, modified 24/48, so they're working 24 hours. They don't work a 40-hour week. We consider it a 56-hour week, so their hourly rate is basically a little different, and y'all are familiar with a lot of that. Important point, we can't, especially in Walberg, rely on volunteers anymore, and I hate that. But we'll get to the back, and I'm gonna tell you my age and how long I've been doing this. But the firefighters on duty is the only thing I can guarantee you. That's it. So whatever leaves out on that truck, is the only thing you get. Staffing challenges, as you've heard, we compete with surrounding fire departments, and the larger city departments, to find qualified firefighter EMTs. Our goal, we like to ride at least 4 per day, and that's hard to accomplish. I'm lucky to get 3. There are days I've got 4, but, most of the time it's 3. And we depend heavily on part-time staff for that. And I'm lucky where I'm at. Like I said, we use a lot of city stuff to assist us, so I recruit those guys while we're out there, to work part-time for me, so that helps a lot. They come and work part-time. Equipment apparatus needs, our fleet is aging like everybody else's. Maintenance cost has really hit me this year. We spent over $100,000 since July 1 on maintenance costs this year on trucks. We do have a new engine ordered. We ordered it 4 years ago, and we're gonna get it this year. And you've heard those prices. We're replacing a 1991 engine, which that's 35 years old. And we purchased that 1991 engine for $212,000. The replacement cost is gonna be $1.3 million. And we ordered that 4 years ago, and it was $1.3 million. So that's how long it takes to get these things too. Our newest piece of apparatus is a 2009. Our first out engine that we consider is 27 years old. It needs to be replaced in the next 3 years. Another key message, we've waited a long time to replace apparatus, but I did that for a reason. I don't think the new shiny apparatus, even though they're pretty, they're no good if they show up with nobody on them. So I want those 3 or 4 people to show up on there, on my 1991 engine, and that's perfectly fine, rather than spend my money on a brand new engine and show up with 1 person. So that's been my philosophy, and so far it's worked. Fire hose, our hose, we've not had good luck with that. It's 17 years old. The past 2 years, I've had 45 sections fail. We're actually currently borrowing some hose. For that, I do have that budgeted to replace those, but just, stuff that reaches out and bites you. Turnout gear and other critical equipment, has to be replaced. Turnout gear, radios, y'all are familiar with radios, every 10 years, those have to be replaced. A lot of money. We spent 2 years ago $200,000 because Viper decided to go to phase two, which some of y'all are familiar with that. So that was $200,000 pop, just so we could talk. Fire station condition, our station still looks good. I'm very proud of it. We've actually been there since '97, which is hard to believe, 29 years ago. Our station has been being used 24/7 since 2001, so it needs updates. We need some additional bedrooms, bathrooms, and just general modernization. Better living quarters, improve crew morale, health, and retention. What citizens expect when they call 911. They expect and deserve quick response, professional, well-trained firefighter EMTs when they get there, reliable equipment that works when needed. We've reached the limit of what our current budget can do without compromising safety or service quality. Now to the good part. Our funding request, due to the recent property evaluation, we respectfully request a tax rate adjustment from 12 down to 10 per $100 valuation. Our revenue neutral rate is 0.825. So our board of directors, community just brought up, our community meetings in October, so it really don't run with the budget year, none whatsoever. So we always bring up that there may be budget, we may have to increase or decrease the tax rate, so that's an ongoing thing, and then our board decides, and they decided to split the difference. This rate adjustment provides a 29% increase for us. Our last year's budget was $1,311,413, and this will put us at $1,689,832, which is $378,000. How we're going to use the funds? Compensation and benefits for our full and part-time employees to remain competitive. Obviously, apparatus and equipment, and then the station improvements. Last but not least, I broke out just so you can have an example, and Commissioner Mizell shot you one earlier. Here's another one, and this one's mine, and this is a public meeting, so I'll just shoot it out. My house was valued at $261,410, my house in 1 acre of land. It went to $442,790. I live in that awesome northern end of the county. This change would only cost the homeowner about $129 more per year, roughly 35 cents a day, if we did that. And I broke out a couple of others for you. Last year at $261,410, I paid $313.69. The increase is going to be $442,790. At 10, I'll pay $442.79, and if we went revenue neutral, I would pay $365.30. So, as the manager gives an examples, I'm in one of those. I'm gonna pay higher irregardless because northern end of the county. So that would be an increase of $51. And last but not least, in closing, commissioners, I've been a member of this fire department for 45 years. I've been chief for 31. And my first budget that I approved as an 18-year-old board member was for $47,000 at a 4-cent tax rate. So we've come a long ways, done a lot, but we've reached a critical point, and without this increase, you know, like I said, we're going to struggle to maintain the staffing, station conditions, and the equipment. Couple other things that I will brag on. As far as retention, my board, I will praise them. They've done good by keeping up with pay raises, that kind of stuff. I currently have 2 25-year employees, and I have 2 more 23-year employees. One of them actually left for a year, went to the big city of High Point, decided that Wahlberg was a whole lot better and come back. So that is the only employee I've ever lost as far as full-time. And, you know, I'm proud of that. But we are wanting to gain more full-time folks. That's what it is. The part-time is scheduling nightmare, and I get it. Most of them work for a big city, so when they're off their weekends from the big city, they sure don't want to go sit at the fire station again. So weekends hurt us a lot. Questions, comments, dirty remarks?
Good presentation, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thank y'all.
Yes, thank you.
A lot to study there.
For your time. I I get to sit in your seat quite often. I'm the board president of the Healing Springs Fire Department. I get to listen to the same stories. But I can't thank the firefighters here, the chiefs, for what they've done. People that are willing to go out and run into that building when everyone else is running out, that are willing to give of themselves. It's, you know, the Lord's been good to most of us. It's payback for them. They're giving back to the community.
Sir?
Healing Springs Fire Department.
Can you tell me your name?
Walter Kruger.
Thank you.
Healing Springs Fire Department, we went in front of the people 2 years ago asking for an increase to 13 cents, which the commissioners have granted also. We had 100% support on that. The people appreciate what we're doing. Where we're a little bit different, and we're all blessed because of mutual aid, we help each other. Somebody's got a ladder, somebody's got an engine, somebody's got whatever. Most important thing is how much water, how many people we have, how aggressive we can be, and how safely we can do it. We're different. We're a rural department, very rural. We do everything from agricultural rescue, swift water, search and rescue on the water. We've got a side imaging sonar, vehicular rescue. We just went up to heavy rescue. Because that's needed. There's nobody else in our end of the county. It's something that's needed. We have over 700 trucks to go past our department each week, 18-wheelers, chip trucks, box trucks, and that's increasing. We have an ethanol plant right behind us. So the needs are greater. We have no commercial coming in through 27 as far as I've been able to find out from the county. No one's applied for it. So we're totally residential. A lot of farm communities, a lot of farmers, excuse me, I'm up that age, but one of us dies off, some of that property's gonna come on the market, we're gonna get 300 acres, 250 homes. 250 homes, to me, the average price of a home in Denton, North Carolina is $260,000. That's about $330 times 250 homes. I'm gonna get another $85,000, but I gotta service 250 families. How many more personnel do I need to do that? We need to be increasing for that. To do that, I need facilities to house them to go to a 24/7 department, 5 days a week, 7 days a week, whatever the situation's gonna demand. But we need to be able to do that. We're running an efficient department now. Our chief is a retired diesel mechanic. We do most of our work internal, other than what we can't do, that we have to go out to the outside to do. The board has been frugal. We pinch pennies. But we buy the best of equipment. We buy it at the best price. We're always we're always investing for the community, i.e. we just went to heavy rescue. So we've got all these plans in the works, financially sound, but we don't have that extra capital, as none of these departments do, with the way things are going up in cost. So we're looking to be able to finance the future needs of our community. We get more residential come in. We're mutual aid. Our call volume's gone way up. It's going up within our community. It's going up with mutual aid also, because they need us as we need them when we're in a time of danger. Just wanted to give you a little more background on Healing Springs. You know, we're fire, we're vehicular. We've got people certified in all these different forms, all these different professional areas. There's always somebody on scene, or should always be on scene, at least it's certified in that. All of us are good, gophers. We know what to do, we've done it, they've shown us to do, but we've got somebody that's got that certification, that extra knowledge, just to make sure we do it right and we can do it best for you. That's kind of what I wanted to say. We're different, and I'm very proud to be on the department. Started as a firefighter, I'm still there as a safety officer, but board president, but nothing could be greater than see people that really want to do the best for their mankind, for other people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I got a question for you, sir. How many volunteers do y'all have at Healing Springs?
I think we have 32 on the roster.
32 volunteers?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it gets down to be about normal. We have about 17 that are active.
Right.
Fantastic.
And we're blessed because the fire service, you're finding, in all services, you're finding less and less people willing to volunteer of themselves. We've been blessed, but down the road, 5, 7, 12 years down the road, it's going to be professional. It's what's going to happen. Unfortunately, it's mandated somewhere. But right now, we're blessed with the volunteers. We get dirty together, we have fun together, and we service the community.
Y'all got a good fire department.
Good job. Good job.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Doing it for the right reasons. Okay.
I think we got one more maybe.
One more? Good evening.
Good afternoon. I'm Michael Helton, Chief of Silver Valley Fire Department, and this is our Chairman, Travis Beeson. All the other fire chiefs have pretty much made my job a little bit easier tonight, touching on the cost of increase on everything from fire trucks. I'm sorry. My name is Michael Helton.
And
Travis
Travis
Beeson.
Beeson.
Yes,
And you're with,
Silver Valley Fire Department.
I've got too many things running through my head.
Hey, Michael, is that, how you spell your last name?
Helton.
Thank you.
We're facing the same issues everybody else has got between the staff and the costs on the increase with everything else. The volunteers, we've still got some volunteers on the roster. You've got some that's on the roster that don't run calls, some that does here and there. So our biggest thing is staffing. So our current proposed budget, we're looking at keeping the 13-cent rate that we have. And revenue neutral would put us at 0.0757, which would be about $7.51. The 13-cent would put us at about 1.1. That would allow us about 4 people around the clock. Every bit of that would be used for staffing. We've got currently 1 person that serves at night, and we've got 2 8 to 5 guys during the day, Monday through Friday, and we've got 1 12-hour during the day, 7 days a week.
I'm gonna ask that same question. How many volunteers do you have?
I think total on roster, as far as personnel, I think we have around 40. The volunteer side of it is about 25.
25.
Roughly, yeah. So, and like they touched on Midway earlier with their ladder truck, we've also got a ladder company that was in Lexington as well.
Mm-hmm.
Our ladder truck's an '07, so it's pushing 20 years old as well.
Yeah.
Lexington did have one that was about 50 years old. Do they still use that one?
That's a good
The
question.
old
I
ladder
don't know.
truck?
Yeah.
Do y'all know if Lexington still uses?
I don't believe they use that one anymore. I'm not familiar though.
Pretty cool looking truck.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
I think you get it that so the youngins sometime.
Yeah.
That increase for the personnel would also include pay raises for the guys. Like everybody else said, they're around $15 an hour. We're at $14.50 for our part-time guys. So that would give them an increase to about $17 an hour.
How many part-time did you say?
We've got, with 1 part-time shift around the clock, we've got 9 part-timers that covers that shift.
Okay.
Cause they all work other jobs as well between rock quarries and everywhere else that they work. So they'll come in, work night shifts, weekends and stuff to try to help fill the void for personnel.
Thank y'all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to speak?
Byron Lohr, Deputy Chief, Central Fire Department, and it's the same story as everybody else. Our board voted in March at the annual meeting to stay with the current rate of 13 cents per 100, and it's the same deal. Personnel, we've got to remodel a fire station in order to accommodate
Staff.
Yeah. Commissioner Elliott alluded to, we got a 98 model tanker that we have to have for our district because it's not hydrogen. That's $1.7 million to replace. But looking at the fire station, increased call volume, like I said, our board had voted to stay at the current rate. And I think every other fire chief in this county is gonna be in the same boat. And all that information Mr. Smith should have.
And your last name was Ward?
Lohr,
Lohr.
L-O-H-R.
L-O-H-R. Thank you.
Didn't y'all's tanker get hit by like a drunk driver on the side of the highway? I hear y'all all the time on the highway.
January 7th, it got hit. They won't talk about tankers and responding. We've got an interstate that carries 100,000 vehicles a day that we respond to.
Yeah.
I understand they're not taxpayers, but we still have to respond.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Hey, my name is Stephen Black. I'm the fire chief at Hasty Fire Department. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse up here. Most of my requests are the same as these guys. My staffing, right now currently, We have 2 full-timers, 24 hours a day, and we just added this past year a 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, so during the day we'll have a 3-man crew. My request is no different than what we turned in to Casey, and that was to stay at a 12-cent tax rate. But our biggest ask, and I was here a few months ago with the fire marshal, our biggest ask is we're trying to build a new fire station. We're about to close on this land in 3 weeks, and jumped through a lot of hoops, got it approved with the fire marshal, through the state fire marshal. As I can go back over what we went over when I was here a few months ago with our building, I'll just hit on some of the high spots. Our bay door height is 9'6", and that really limits what fire trucks you can get in that building and the amount of water you can carry, the amount of equipment. In 1980, that worked just fine. It doesn't work in 2026. There's no way. My board, we had half of them were against it, half of them were for it several years ago when we started talking about this. Some of them didn't even want to talk about it at all. We've explored building onto our station. We have, our lot is less than an acre, so even if we want to go flow a truck, it's very limited and very restricted. About 5 years ago, I actually started looking for some land. I found some land on West Lexington, and that's our biggest issue, is our location. So from where we are, it takes us a few minutes to get out to West Lexington. Moving our station to where we proposed a few meetings ago, it gets our response times within the NFPA limit to our entire district. It also covers an area which, from what I understand, there's only 2 areas in the county that does not have, that people live outside of a 6-mile district. There's one of those on Tobe Hilton Road. This takes in that, and the fire marshal's well aware of that. So those people are paying double their fire tax or their fire insurance because they don't live within the 6-mile district. So that solves that issue. So we're asking to stay at the 12 cent. It's our revenue neutral is just 9, so we're asking for that 12. We've got a $5 million plus building to pay for, so that's where most of that money's gonna go. So this is a huge milestone for Hasty. I'm sure 60 years ago when they started this station, it was a huge milestone, so this is our next endeavor. So, any questions? And I could sit here and go on for an hour about what these guys talked about as well, but that's one of our biggest asks.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Billy Simerson, Fire Chief at Tyree Fire Department. Just like everybody else up here, our stuff is aging, our equipment, air packs, everything is aging. Last year, we went before our community to ask it for a tax increase. Try to do it by the book, the way the county wants it. They voted to go up 4 cents, take us from 8 to 12 is what we voted on. The budget we turned in to the county manager was at that 12 cent, even on the new reval. Taking the reevaluation into consideration, if we could go to, the reevaluation takes us, I wouldn't lose a piece of paper, there it is. Takes us down from 8 cents to 0.0529. On the monies that we went to our community on, going from the 8 cent to the 12, if we could take our tax rate to 0.072, that would give us roughly the same money that we asked for last year to our community. Like I said, we're in the same boat as everybody else. I normally budget for gear 10 or 5 to 6 sets a year. I'm down to 2 now because of our monies. But y'all have any questions for me? I know we talked with a couple of y'all already. So
I will thank you for what you do. When, Barry Schoaf was the chief, he was also my football coach down at West Davidson, and I thought I was gonna be a fireman. And buddy, I went out there and took the training, did that, and about 2 calls, I went and, saw a wreck, and it changed my life forever.
Absolutely.
And
It
you
will.
know, some people are cut out for it and some people aren't. I wasn't. Seeing what I saw, it shook me, and I couldn't never go back. So I thank all y'all gentlemen for what you do.
And on the truck sides of it, we're replacing a 98-year model now. I've had one on order, supposed to be here next year, sometime next year, maybe. And that's at $1.2 million.
Man.
So,
Thank you, Chief.
our newest truck is a 2010, I paid $400,000 for it. So, yeah. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Chief. Thank you.
Hi.
I can go on just like these guys can. First of all, my name is Todd McDaniel.
I'm sorry.
McDaniel. Todd McDaniel, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Todd.
Pilot Fire Department, Thomasville. We have the same problem, just personnel. We got 27 volunteers, 27 firefighters, 17 volunteers, the rest of them part-time paid staff. Because we can't get some volunteers to show up. You're lucky to get one to show up on a call. If he had a heart attack, he don't show up now. So you have 2 people on the truck, if both of them's there that day. We spend over half our budget right now. We spend $270,000 a year just on personnel. Our budget of last year was $352. We just moved up 2 years ago, 3 years ago to 10.5. That would put us at what we would get without the revenue neutral is $644. We have a truck that's 96 we need to replace. Our first out truck is a 2006 or 2007. We got an older truck that's a 86. Well, with our trucks, we try to keep what we can, not have to work on them much, but we already spent $50,000 just this year alone on maintenance because of breakdowns. We had to borrow a truck actually from Silver Valley to make it through a month or 2. We can't afford one, not even, if we even get a new budget, it'd be hard to afford one because our payroll's so high. We need to get more people in our station to cover it without volunteers. We need 3 on the truck. Right now we got 2, if we're lucky. 98% of the time we're gonna have 2. Because it's show up for work. But we do really need more money in our budget. Now, when we got our 2% tax increase, our community, I was there that night, they said, let's go at 4. That's when we was 8.5 and we hadn't went up since 2002. So they went up, they said, well, let's go up 4%. But the board said, no, let's just stay at 2%, go up 2 more percent from 8.5 to 10.5. And that's what they've done. Now they're thinking about going back to them if all this goes revenue neutral and go back up another 2% so we can have money. But we'd like to stay at 10.5 is what we voted on that community meeting. That's what we'd like to stay on. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak?
I'm not part of any organization or anything, I'm just a concerned citizen, of Yakin County. My name is Caitlin Yates, and I'm 27 years old. My husband and I just got married last year, and I'm very worried about this Duke Energy power plant that's going to be put in, or planned to be put in on Yakin County.
This is
in
a
the river.
budget matter, isn't it, Madam Chair?
Yes, this is a budget matter.
Oh, I'm sorry. I knew that there was, some comments for earlier. I didn't know what point.
Yeah, that was at the
Beginning.
public hearing
Okay.
portion.
Public address.
Will that happen again after?
Not
Not
tonight,
today.
no.
Okay.
You can come to the next meeting.
If you come to the next meeting and sign
I'm
up,
in.
you can speak.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry.
Or
Okay.
we have one item left. If you'll stay after, I'm sure some of us could be around.
Yeah.
I mean, I can
Yeah.
meet you
That's right.
down there to chat.
All right, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else, for the proposed budget? Okay, I declare the public hearing closed. The budget workshop, it will be scheduled for June the 4th. Okay. All right, let's go on to public hearing, Community Development Block Grant, initial hearing. Mr. Walter?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, the North Carolina Department of Commerce receives community development block grant funding directly from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. It's then their responsibility to make that funding available to municipalities throughout the state. And one of the areas they do that is with economic development. And so there's basically three categories. There's infrastructure, there's demolition, and there's also building reuse. So if you have an economic development project that needs community development block grant funds, then 2 public hearings are required in order to apply for those funds. The first one is just a generic public hearing, and that's what this one is tonight, and it's good for a year. So for the next year, if you have an economic development project that should come about, that you want to apply for community development block grant funds, a second public hearing would be required, and it would be at that time you'd disclose the specifics about that project.
Thank you.
I'd be happy to answer any questions you might
Any
have.
questions from the board?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak?
Madam Chair, did you open the public hearing before Mr. Walter started? I don't think you did.
I did not, because
Would you
not
open
on
it
my
now,
paper.
please?
Yes. Let me open the public hearing for Mr. Walser, who's already spoken. So now, are there anyone in the audience that would wish to speak? Okay, hearing none, I declare the public hearing closed. No action needed. Additional public hearings will be scheduled in the coming year, if necessary. Thank you. Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
If I'd have known we were gonna have all those people at the budget public hearing, I sort of flopped it so he could get out.
Okay. Number 8 is items for decision and information, consent agenda. Are there any items to remove for discussion?
Seeing none, Madam Chair, I make a motion we approve the consent agenda as read.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Sure. Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have a couple, if we still have them here, we have a couple of folks at the meeting to accept proclamation. Angela from World Elder Abuse. Okay, you can come on up. Okay.
Okay.
Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Let me hand her, whoops, got them right here.
All right, now what is this proclamation for?
This one's for elder abuse.
Elder abuse, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Did y'all have a lot of fun tonight? Here? Yeah?
Much arthritis as
You're
I
aware
got,
of a
I
lot of
feel
stuff now, right?
We're gonna stand up behind them.
Oh.
I don't wanna roll in both.
Yeah, for me.
Congratulations.
Migraine and headache are winning this month.
Amen.
And this is,
Now I know why.
this is Donna Smith.
Smith.
One that requested the proclamation.
Now, who's she with?
The Headache Alliance?
Oh,
Amen.
headache.
Amen.
Yeah, it's a,
I'm gonna give you my wife's phone number.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Wait so long.
All right.
Yeah.
I know a few now.
All right, so is that it?
Wait.
we have a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I know, I'm just saying that is it.
Adjourn,
Motion to
Mr. Chairman, motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.